So in this video, we're going to be looking at what it's like to be black in countries that we don't really visit, okay? Countries that we ain't really, they're not the most popular countries to go ahead and visit. They're not on your checkbook, right? And the first country we're going to start with is my biggest op. Yeah, if you've been watching me for a second, you already know who we're talking about. We're talking about Australia. Now, you would think that they'd be too busy fighting off lions and tigers. Okay, bears and crocodiles. Okay, the newest, deadliest mosquito. The newest, deadliest spider. You would think that they'd be too busy doing that shit to be racist. Nope. They're never too busy to be racist. You know what shocks me about Australia? This is just these people in general, right? They stole Australia. The thing is, they stole America, they stole Australia. They stole Australia. And then they're marching immigrants get out. It's like, go back to Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why. Let's keep it real, right? There's a reason why the British sent prisoners to Australia, because it's like a hellhole. It's just got all the deadliest creatures, just everything just running around. It's like hell on earth. Spiders, lions, bears. I see the video, I'll never forget this. This woman opened her door, a pride of lions were outside of her door. I said, what the hell is going on? Just burn everything. A pride of lions are just outside, just normal. Why are you living there? But again, even during all this, the black people who are there are facing racism, and it is nasty.
Growing up black in Australia is the worst thing ever. From the racism to the people saying the hard R, all that stuff you hear about is true. I'm gonna be honest, it's true. I'm gonna come out and say it. In my experiences, the amount of white people I've heard say the hard R is crazy on a day-to-day basis. Some people even ask me, do you mind if I said a word? Like, why do you want to say it? You're white. Australians, in my opinion, mind you, I've been to 6 countries in my life. In my opinion, Australia is the most racist country. I'm gonna just say it, Australia is the most racist country. From my personal experience, I felt more wanted when I was in France, when I was in England, even when I was in Netherlands, I felt more wanted. I just feel like Australian culture and Australian people, they just don't like black people. And if they do, they only like famous black people or like an athlete. I didn't start getting treated differently until I got TikTok famous. Before that, when I was just a normal black guy to everyone else, I experienced racism like crazy. Now I barely experience it. And there's a reason for that, because they know if they say anything to me now, I can expose it because I have a massive platform. Like, I have a big platform now. I can low-key expose anyone that's racist. But I just don't, because I don't really care that much. And the thing is, the only people that will understand this video are people that grew up in Australia that weren't white. Like, if you're white, you won't understand this video. You just think I'm trolling. But trust me, if you ask any black person, I'm telling you, ask any black person, they'll tell you they've had a racial encounter. Maybe even this week. Maybe even today.
Next up on the list, we have Germany, okay? Who's going to Germany? I mean, let's be honest, right? But there are black people there, and we know the history of Germany, the Nazis. They tried to run away from it, but you can't run away from something like that. You know, these are your ancestors, right? So the fact that black people in Germany are experiencing racism, it's not a surprise whatsoever.
Have you had any negative experiences while living in Germany?
Indeed, anywhere you stay, you will have good and bad experiences. I've had good experiences, I've also had negative experiences. Of course, one of the negative experiences that we all at some point experience as African people is with racism. And you would have situations where people discriminate against you, or people try to take advantage of you because they feel like maybe you don't know the law as a black person, or maybe they feel like you are going to be afraid to go through the legal process because as a black person, you think that you have no rights. So I've had these kind of experiences before. What I can assure you is that some individual people might be racist, but the system can also be on your side as long as you try your best to also stay within the framework of the law.
Thank you, hate you. They don't want to show it.
Yeah.
They don't want to show it, but they have that. You know?
You have these jokes.
Yeah.
Like, with these jokes, you really feel like they're not showing you that they hate you, but they hate you. You know, but it's not really they hate you because they know they hate you. It's just in them that they hate you because you're different, because you're not like them.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yourself. I would say that there are not that many people of our skin color over here, or not even skin color. I would say, with the mindset of us, you know, because skin color is one thing, but not of the mindset of us. I would say, yeah, that's true.
How he's describing the racism in Germany is exactly how racism was like portrayed to be in the UK for the longest. It was all like covert underneath, right? Since, you know, the right wing are like rising up now, they've become infinitely more overt. Their true feelings are being showed. We knew how they felt all along. But next up, we have Austria. Now, Austria's quite interesting because not Australia, Austria. I don't know the Austrian history when it comes to racism. They didn't take part in the transatlantic slave trade, so I'm like, okay, like what's the beef? You know? Have we interacted like that historically? Are you just, you know, is it your Europeanness that just makes you anti-black? I don't know. We're gonna find out though, because I don't understand why black people are going to Austria and having racist experiences. I don't get it.
There's one country you cannot pay me to visit again, and it's some of the worst history of racism in European history. So this is Austria, specifically Vienna, where I travelled to about a week ago. Now, as soon as I arrived, I had mad looks, mad stares, up and down constantly. And I'm usually used to this in the UK. Sometimes I get it, but not to this level. So,
You know it's bad. This is a green-eyed light skin. Shout out to him, okay? But you know a country racist if a green-eyed light skin you guys getting racist looks. Jeez, bread.
immediately I was uncomfortable, and I was just brushing it off like it's just probably my dress, my hair, the way I look. It's nothing to do with like my skin color or anything like that. So I kind of just ignored it, but I carried on through the day, and it was getting a bit uncomfortable on like the subways and walking around the city. Now later in the evening, I was called the N-word in a Superdrug, and this really took me back. This was obviously overt racism. I hadn't seen in my adult life for a long time, since I was a kid maybe. Basically what happened was my card declined in Superdrug. I left the shop. I was with a Viennese girl who basically started arguing with the cashier when I came back in, and told me that she basically called me the N-word twice underneath her breath. Now, that just took me back straight away, because I was under the impression that the rest of Europe can have a similar attitude as we do in the UK to diversity and multiculturalism. And it was really just a shock going forward, and obviously looking at the history of the country.
What mentality is that? What mentality does the UK have that like Australia doesn't, or Belgium doesn't, or Spain doesn't? Just because we live here, that don't mean they ain't racist as shit.
It made sense. Obviously, a lot of the ideas around eugenics, racial superiority, those things to do with obviously World War II and the Nazis, as well as there not being that much diversity and multiculturalism in Austria. They never had any colonies throughout history, so it's obviously very white and very native. There's nothing wrong with that. But obviously there's the lack of understanding from maybe some of the older generations, and it was a woman in like her 60s who said it, so it kind of made sense, but at the same time it really took me back.
Well, I guess in kindergarten that was the first time I noticed that I was different, because kids would like the one question I had gotten asked is if my parents forgot me in the oven, if that was the reason for my skin color.
Welcome to Europe. Welcome to Austria, baby.
And I was like, I didn't have an answer. So then I thought, oh my God, my parents forgot me in the oven. And then
kidding?
yeah,
It's
and
a joke.
No, this is normal.
and I was like, oh my goodness. And then that's the first conversation I had with my mom. And I felt that's when she said, yeah, we come from a different continent, and there are actually a lot of people who look like us. But I mean, she said that, but it didn't have any weight because I only saw white people, especially I feel like in the last 5-6 years, more black people have come into like Upper Austria Linz. That's where I grew up. But like, at the time I grew up, I was the only black kid, like at school, in kindergarten, everywhere. There was just another family in our neighborhood. They were from Congo. So these were the only other black people I saw. But then, so that's why my focus was always on like fitting in. And for a very long time, I wanted to have white features because then I thought my life would be easier. So it was only when I went to New York at the age of 11, because I have like family members there. That's when I saw a whole lot of black people. And I was like, wow, we are dripping.
I didn't know that Austria had a history in eugenics. Now I had no idea that Austria had a history in eugenics. That's dark. Okay. Eugenics is like endgame racism, right? They get the illegal immigrants out. They get the immigrants out, right? They get the immigrants of color out. They get the immigrants out, so that'll be the other white people, right? If you're Polish or whatever the case is, they kick you out of the country. They oppress the gays, they oppress the women. Then they start doing eugenics. So the fact that they have a history of eugenics, yeah, man, that country is going to be racist as shit. Okay, eugenics, I mean, literally, you're looking at other people like you, your own people, and you're going, you have brown eyes. You should die. Yeah, that's scary. Next up, we have Ireland. Whether we're talking about Ireland, Northern Ireland, I don't give a damn, man. I don't care if they're different. They're not different. I don't know why you would be traveling to Ireland. A lot of these countries on this list, I don't know why you'd be traveling to, unless you're, one of those Dora the Explorer type niggas. I just want to go to as many countries as possible. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You're going to learn two things, though. You're going to learn a lot of these countries, kind of shit. Also, you're going to learn, why do they hate us everywhere?
I feel sorry for black Irish people, because every time I go on social media, anytime you guys say something about your experience or anything, or just speak in your accent, you guys got like thousands of comments telling you guys to go back home. Go back to your mud huts. That is crazy. What's going on in Ireland? Everything you guys say, go back home. Go back home. Go back to your mud hut. What's happening over there, man? Man, stay safe out there, man.
Nothing like having a rough day and then thinking you're going to have a nice quiet train ride home and get home and just have some peace to reset yourself, only to get on the train and one stop away from your train, a bunch of teenage boys, probably ranging from the ages of like 12 to 15, get on the train and start yelling nigga repeatedly to try and get a reaction out of you and have people witness it and do nothing.
You know what disgusts me about... Man, I gotta watch what I say on YouTube. Man. I'll be having some cancelable thoughts. There was a time where the Irish, Northern Ireland, I'm not even gonna differentiate because I don't respect the history enough to. There was a time where there was no blacks, no Irish, no dogs in the UK. My mother grew up in this time. She's seen it. The British hated these people. You fast forward. Now you have these people sucking on the teat of Britain within their racism, coming together. You look at some of these comments. Yeah, we gotta get the immigrants out. And it's like, these guys don't even like you. When they get the immigrants out and they get everybody, you're next. But they don't care because they're just blinded by their hate.
Say nothing. There's no train operator, so who am I going to report to? I haven't seen one. Okay, cool. And then there's about 6 of them and one of me. I'm not about to go out of my way to just put myself in danger like that.
Hell no.
Especially, when they're younger, they really don't care. They really don't care. They're going to do whatever. They're going to do whatever. And then when they get more bold because they think you're going to do nothing, when really you're just trying to keep your peace because it's just like, I don't have time for this. I really don't have time for this. Hovering over your seat, staring at you down, literally towering over you, and finding it funny. You stand up to get up off the train, now they get bunda, bunda, bunda. Nigga to bunda. Racist, and then hypersexualized. This is Northern Ireland. Like, this is the part that people don't like to talk about. And you know what's crazy? The only time I've ever been called a nigga is in Northern Ireland. I have lived in Canada. I have lived in England. I even did this one. Never. Even to the different places I've been, never. The only time it ever happens is when I'm in Northern Ireland. And they don't look at me and think, oh yeah, like, she's been here since she was 4, stay to 11. She knows what certain things are like, how things used to be.
I get it, man.
Culturally, she's even familiar.
Hell no, man. You hear black Irish people speak in Ireland, and they're still getting the blues. You got mixed race black people. who are born in Ireland their whole life, half white. They don't give a damn about that shit. When have they ever cared about that? You got black Americans who have been in America for 400 years, were literally bought there as slaves. And these heathens want them to leave the country. These heathens still hate them, even though they ain't done nothing to white. It's crazy. They don't care about nothing about your skin color.
No, they just see me and they see nigga. I'm just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And it's just like, I don't understand how you want to be raised saying like how everyone knows everyone. It's a lovely, friendly place. This, that, and the third. And then you have that.
I don't know if you guys know what's been happening recently in Ireland. Or no, Northern Ireland. Who cares? Essentially, this immigrant unalived a white woman. And you already know how they get when it comes to their white women, okay? And because one immigrant done a bad thing, we saw the riots. And they were disgusting. They were burning houses, burning cars, just because they believed they were being occupied by immigrants.
Northern Ireland. Riots like this. A brutal knife attack in Belfast triggered anti-immigration violence in Northern Ireland. Riots like this one follow a pattern that's become increasingly familiar.
These emotions have been weaponized and amplified by viral sensationalist content on social media.
Investigators say a Sudanese asylum seeker had been charged over the stabbing of Stephen Ogilvy, a man in his 40s in Belfast. Within hours, far-right accounts and public figures were amplifying.
It was a man. I thought it was a white woman, man. God damn.
The incident, while AI-generated posters and calls for protest circulated online. What followed were men wearing masks rallying, setting fire to houses and forcing families out of their homes as a wave of violence spread across the city.
The tragic, violent incident of the knife attack has essentially served as a trigger point for long-standing grievances about immigration in the UK and Northern Ireland. And it is really stemming from a much larger and strategic narrative that far-right actors have sought to politicize around immigration, xenophobia, and racism.
Eviane Leidig and others say the recurring formula is a shocking incident that is quickly amplified online, then becomes a call to action by the far right.
That includes figures like ex-CEO Elon Musk, as well as a number of prominent MAGA influencers and commentators that are based in the US, as well as those in the UK.
Imagine dirty boy Elon Musk, white South African colonizer, right? Standing for protest. And you have South Africa, that's a disgrace. Protesting other black people, but not the white people though. Not the white people that stole all your land and apartheid. Enslaved you essentially, conquered you. No, you're protesting against other black people. And you got dirty boy Elon Musk on X. Where are you even from?
You cannot place blame on a whole race on immigrants due to one person's actions. My name's Rebecca and I'm living in Dublin, and I just want to tell you a bit about the riots in Belfast, okay? So genuinely, what right does anyone have to go around burning down people's houses and discriminating against people just because their race is different to their ethnicity or the colour of their skin? What happened to the poor man who lost his life on the 8th of June is obviously absolutely devastating and so sad and is not normal. And however, what happened does not give anyone an excuse to be aggressive towards others because of the colour of their skin, where they came from, or anything to do with that. A man does something to a woman, probably very similar situation, society immediately goes and forms the opinion of, oh, not all men, we can't put all men in one category, which is fair enough, okay? It isn't all men. And if a person of colour does this exact same thing, immediately all of them, absolutely all of them, are condemned in some people's eyes. And I'm just not seeing where that makes sense. It seems to me that some people use something devastating like what happened as an excuse to create chaos, make people feel unsafe, and just like go crazy. Like,
now we're gonna leave the European continent for a bit, and we're gonna go to South Asia. Okay, India, to be specific. Now, you guys might not understand why Indians are racist or South Asians are racist or have racist tendencies. Let me explain. During the trans-Saharan slave trade, the Arab Muslims sold black slaves to the South Asians. So they are very, very colorist. In South Asia, they have a big colorism problem, and they don't mess with black people like that.
Have you never seen a black person and a white person before? Huh?
I would not recommend going to Delhi.
Okay. Scratch that off.
Because Delhi is also a great cultural vibe, but the people sometimes are very, and especially because you're black, I'm going to tell you there are racists over there who are very much in your face. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. There's my black friend from America had come down. He was from Brooklyn, and he was visiting Mumbai, and he's queer. So he was like, "What are the queer hotspots?" So I took him to like a bar and everything. And this is in the most uppity part of Mumbai, right, where all the influential and affluent people come and drink.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having a smoke in the balcony, and there's a song in India, and pardon my words, but in India, nigahe means eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the eyesight.
Okay.
So the song has the word nigaho mein. So
Yeah.
he was saying that verbatim on purpose because there was a black guy and they could say the N word without saying the N word because of the Indian word.
Oh, they try to do that shit?
My blood was just like curdling, not even boiling. It was just like, I'm like, bro, like, and the girl next to him was like, she was pinching him, like, shut the fuck up, don't do this. You know, so that also happens, you know?
If you are a black person from Africa, but more specifically from Nigeria, and if you really, really want to know how people treat you as a traveler from these African countries in their country, go to Asia. Go to the entirety of Asia, starting with Southeast Asia, but especially India. My nigga, you might want to have thick skin. You might want to pray to God Almighty because it's going down. I'm not trying to be disrespectful and I'm trying to watch out for these algorithms, but I have met all kinds of people in this world, all kinds of good and bad and whatever the situation, people, if you want to call it, but I have never met a group of people more racist, more disrespectful, more just vile than Indian people. And I know I'm generalizing. There are some dope-ass Indian people that I've been opportune to meet, but per group, the same way I did that video a few months ago talking about per group, the group of people that I've met in my life that have shown me the most love has been black Americans, not black people, not Nigerians, not Africans, but black Americans per group. Of course, I've met some dumbass black Americans, people who have treated me with disrespect and all kinds of shit, but per group, the group of people in my life, in my 32 years of living in this raggedy-ass, ghetto-ass world, who have shown me the most love have been black Americans. The opposite, the group of people in this world, in my life, that have treated me with the utmost disrespect have been Indians. When I tell you, bro.
Imagine going to India and being like racially abused. Start looking around like, bro, I gotta watch what I say. This is not, you're not that. I'm sorry, it's not that. You're not that. You cannot think that you're above me. I'm sorry. I won't allow it to happen. I'm not standing and taking that. I'm sorry. I got too much pride. This is not America. This is not England. You know, you can't flex your history. You can't, you what? Hell no, man.
Indians hurt your neck, and I don't even know where to begin, bro. If you are black, especially black from Africa, but most specifically from Nigeria, and you have had the unfortunateness, if that's even a word, to work with some of these people from the Asian continent, the Middle Eastern country, but especially Indian, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. In healthcare, in engineering, in IT, in computer sciences, but you ain't seen shit till you go to their country. All bets are off. Once you get there with your black ass and you talk very Nigerian, very African. Matter of fact, I talked about this on YouTube, and YouTube took my video down because they thought I was going to end. They thought I was creating more division. But I was keeping it real. Who is going to speak up for us? They would not disrespect a white person like that. They would, even if you're a white person from the poorest European country, as long as your skin is white, you have blue, green, blonde hair, eyes, and all kinds of shit, they will not touch you because of how much they're ready to get on all fours too. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to a black person, they know damn well that all bets are off. They don't give two fucks about your black ass. So if you are a black person from Africa, specifically from Nigeria, even more so, you want to know what it feels like to be disrespected, to be treated as a black person in Asia, go to the Asian countries, starting with the Southeastern countries, Southeastern Asian countries, but most specifically India. You better have motherfucking thick skin.
All of these issues you see when it comes to black people living abroad in particular, right? You're traveling, shit's gonna happen. But there are a lot of black people who live in these countries. And the only reason why we live in these countries is because Africa sucks. And we have to leave the continent to improve our lives. And it always goes back to Africa. Unfortunately, man. If this was the continent in which it should be, which is the richest continent on the planet, and had the best quality of life, we'd all be in Africa, living it up. And we could go to Europe to see, how decrepit and poor it is, because that's what it would be. And we could go to these other countries and we could see, okay, we might still get some racist abuse, but guess what? We can just go back up, because we're only here for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we can't do that. And that's where I'll always have a feeling and that's why I'll always have feelings of negativity towards these African leaders, because the reason why we have to live in these countries and suffer is because of them.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone. I just can't let this go. This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone.